So now lastly coming to the uses of our conventional H1 antihistamines. So very first use is obviously its allergic disorders. Antihistaminics do not suppress antigen antibody reaction but block the effects of released histamine. Since they block the H1 receptor, they effectively control certain immediate type of allergies, for example, itching, urticaria, seasonal hay fever, allergic conjunctivitis, and angioedema of lips, eyelids, etc. Secondly, it can be used in the treatment of pruritus. Many conventional antihistamines have antipruritic action independent of H1 antagonism. Though relief is often incomplete, older antihistaminics such as chlorpheniramine, diphenhydramine, cyproheptadine remains the first choice drugs for idiopathic pruritus. Next, it is used in the treatment of common cold. Antihistaminics do not affect the course of the illness but may afford symptomatic relief by anticholinergic, that is reduce rhinorrhea, and sedative actions. The newer non-sedating antihistamines are less effective in this respect. Another use is for motion sickness. Promethazine, diphenhydramine, dimenhydrinate, and meclizine have prophylactic value in milder types of motion sickness, should be taken 1 hour before starting journey. This action may be because of anticholinergic effect. Promethazine can also be used in motion sickness, drug induced and post operative vomiting, radiation sickness. An off label, that is unapproved use of cyproheptadine is often made in anorectic or convalescent patients for improving appetite. Such use in underweight children is inappropriate because its CNS depressant action can affect learning. Next, used in the treatment of vertigo. Cinnarizine is the H1 antihistamine having additional anticholinergic, antihistamine, sedative and vasodilator properties, which has been widely used in vertigo. It modulates calcium ion fluxes and attenuates vasoconstriction action of many endogenous mediators. Cinnarizine inhibits vestibular sensory nuclei in the inner ear, suppresses post-rotatory labyrinthine reflexes, possibly by reducing stimulated influx of calcium ion from endolymph into the vestibular sensory cells. Beneficial effects have been reported in Meniere's disease and other types of vertigo. Side effects are sedation and mild GI upset. Dimenhydramine is another effective anti-vertigo antihistaminic. Next, use as pre-anesthetic medication. Promethazine has been used for its anticholinergic and sedative properties. Next, use is in the treatment of cough. Antihistaminics like chlorpheniramine, diphenhydramine, and promethazine are constituents of many popular cough remedies. They have no selective cough suppressant action but may afford symptomatic relief by sedative and anticholinergic properties. Next, use is in the treatment of Parkinsonism. Promethazine and some other afford mild symptomatic relief in early cases based on anticholinergic and sedative property. Next, it is also used in acute muscle dystonia caused by anti-dopaminergic antipsychotic drugs is promptly relieved by parenteral promethazine, diphenhydramine or hydroxyzine. This is again based on central anticholinergic action of the drugs. Lastly, as sedative, hypnotic, anxiolytic effects. Antihistamines with CNS depressant action have been used as sedative and to induce sleep, especially in children. However, promethazine has produced serious respiratory depression in young children. Few deaths are on record. It is not indicated in children aged 2 years or less. For promoting sleep, antihistaminics are not as dependent as benzodiazepines. Hydroxyzine has been used in anxiety associated with autonomic manifestations. Okay, so no doubt H1 antihistamines are producing CNS depressant, but benzodiazepine are more reliable as compared to H1 antihistamines. So this was all about the uses of H1 antihistamines.